Okay guys, so it's late and I lost my camera, people. So we're going to get through this one on our own. So this video is going to be for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. We're all going to be writing a fractured fairy tale together. So when we think of the word fractured, what do we think of? Like a fractured bone or something like that. So it's broken. So when we think of a broken fairy tale, all we're meaning is we've changed it, okay? So we've changed the fairy tale. We're telling it from a different character's perspective, maybe. Maybe we've changed the setting. There's all kinds of different ways to fracture our own fairy tale and write our own. And we're gonna talk about some of those different ways, but first I wanna talk about what a fairy tale is. So, when I think of a fairy tale, I think of stories like The Three Bears, The Three Little Pigs, but there are all different kinds of fairy tales, and I have listed a few on the board. I'm going to show those to you in a moment if I can get the camera to flip. And there are different elements to a fairy tale. So fairy tales normally begin with once upon a time. They end with, and they all lived happily ever after, right? Okay. Fairy tales also normally have some type of magical element, whether it's a character that has, like, possesses some kind of magic, or we're talking about fairies or gnomes or trolls. Not all the time, but normally they have some kind of magical element, even if it's just a talking animal. Good triumphs over evil. So there's usually a bad character. In this, that's called an antagonist. That's a new vocabulary word, and we'll talk more about that later, but there's an antagonist, there's the bad character. And usually they lose. They might try really hard, and you might think that they're gonna win or triumph, but good triumphs over evil in fairy tales. Make sure I've got everything. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna need to do is you're going to need to choose a fairy tale. So I wanted to think about a few different fairy tales. And I cannot flip the camera, apparently, after I'm videoing. And if I were to show you the board, it's backwards, so that's not gonna work. So I listed some fairy tales. I listed Cinderella. That's a fun one. We all know the story of Cinderella and the evil stepsisters, or stepmother. The Three Little Pigs. That's actually the one that we're gonna really look at today. You're actually gonna read a fractured fairy tale. You're gonna watch a YouTube video about the true story of the Three Little Pigs. Beauty and the Beast. That's another Disney one, but it could be considered a fairy tale. We've got Beauty, who she loves to read. She meets the Beast. And we've got the Three Bears. Goldilocks and the Three Bears, that's a fun one to do. Little Red Riding Hood, and the Three Billy Goats Gruff. That's kind of a different one. So those are just some examples of fairy tales that you might want to choose from. So there are unlimited ways to fracture a fairy tale, or to change it, sorry. You can start by changing the characters. So instead of the Three Little Pigs, there's actually a fractured fairy tale called the Three Javelinas. Javelinas is the Spanish word for pigs, so the characters are pretty much the same, but because the vocabulary is different, the whole story is different. So you've got the Three Javelinas, and instead of the big bad wolf, you have a big bad coyote. The setting is completely different. The houses, instead of a house of sticks and a house of bricks, you've got like a house of, I think it's like mud. The last one's an adobe house. So the vocabulary is all different. They've fractured this fairy tale. They've changed it all up just by changing a few elements. In this case, the vocabulary. You can change the characters completely. There's another fractured fairy tale that kind of goes off of the Three Little Pigs, but it is called The Three Little Aliens and the Big Bad Robot. So it changes the characters completely. The setting is changed completely. It's set in outer space. So that's another way that you can fracture your fairy tale. Change both. Change the characters, change the setting. Another good way is to just change the point of view. So most fairy tales are told from one character's point of view. So like the Three Little Pigs is told from the Three Little Pigs point of view. The story that you're going to look at today is the exact same story, but it's told from the point of view of the Big Bad Wolf. And in this case, the Big Bad Wolf isn't so big and bad, or at least he doesn't think he is. So you're going to watch that video in a little bit and see how they fractured that fairy tale. But that's a great way to fracture a fairy tale, is by choosing a different point of view and changing your story up that way. That's a fun way to do it. So if you were going to tell the story of Cinderella, instead of telling it from Cinderella's point of view, tell it from the evil stepmother's point of view, or one of the stepsisters. In Little Red Riding Hood, same thing. Change the point of view. Tell it from the grandmother's point of view. So there's all different ways that you can fracture your own fairy tale. So what you're going to do today is, after this video, I'm going to send a link to the true story of the Three Little Pigs on YouTube. I was going to read the book to you, but I left my book at school, so I don't have it. So you're going to get to listen to someone else read it on YouTube, and you'll get to look at the pictures and see that. It's a really cute story. And then after you're done, you are going to choose your own fairy tale to fracture, okay? Your own fairy tale to change. So you've got to decide which fairy tale you're going to do, and then you're going to fill out your brainstorming worksheet that you should have gotten when your parents came and picked up your schoolwork. So you're going to fill out your brainstorming worksheet. For my 6th graders, that consists of telling who the characters you're going to use are, how you're going to change them up. For my 4th graders, your brainstorming worksheet is a little bit different. It's going to be telling the original story characters and then how you want to change yours, okay? So 4th and 6th grade, your brainstorming sheets look a little different, but you're gonna basically do the same thing. Okay, so that is what you are going to work on today. We're just brainstorming. You're just getting ideas down, choosing your fairy tale, and choosing the characters that you are going to use in your story, okay? This is gonna be a fun little project. After you're finished writing your story, you will get to publish it. So everyone will have a book, and you will get to write your story in your book and draw pictures, and then when you turn it into me, then we'll share them with each other. And I'm excited to see what y'all come up with for your fractured fairy tale. Okay, so as soon as you finish this video, you're gonna watch the true story of the Three Little Pigs, and then you're going to complete your brainstorming worksheet. That is your assignment for today, Tuesday. It's actually the 24th. On my other videos, I said the 23rd, but I've got it right now, okay? So Tuesday the 24th, watch the true story of the Three Little Pigs, and then fill in your brainstorming activity worksheet.